This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to create beautiful websites for all your needs. Whether it's to sell a product, share content, or simply promote yourself, Squarespace does it all. I made a video dunking on Procreate and listing the reasons why I moved away from that app and continue to use Clip Studio Paint. A lot of people told me to try out some other apps, so I'm gonna try them out and show you my opinions on them, see how they are compared to Procreate, but not compared to Clip Studio Paint, because no matter if I like or dislike these apps, it doesn't matter because I'm still just gonna use Clip Studio Paint for the rest of my life. But let's just say that one day I became so broke that I couldn't afford my monthly subscription to Clip Studio and I would need a backup. And let's say I didn't want to use Procreate, so let's see if one of these apps work for me. These are quote-unquote free apps. They're all free versions, but still need a little bit of a payment to make it run smoothly. So yeah, let's get into this. Gonna judge these based on their price, the UI, the brushes, and especially their stabilization. And also where the files are gonna be saved, because you don't want to lose all your files if they're saved to the app. F's in the chat for these people who lost all of their artwork in Procreate. Oh man, I feel bad for them. Just a quick recap on Procreate. This is based off the comments that I read. Most people had problems with the UI where everything is too minimalistic. You have to tap in order to access something, and that just felt inconvenient for a lot of people. The second one is brushes. People did not like the brush at all. So I'm going to use this stabilization to compare with other apps as well. This is what the stabilization looks like in Clip Studio Paint. This is with 0 stabilization. You can see how fast it goes and how wobbly my lines can be. But with stabilization set to 100, it's a lot slower, and it does have a drag to it. Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit more natural compared to what Procreate does. Okay, if you see this, okay, the stabilization like this, I think it's nice, it's okay. Setting it a bit more. You can see that the drag it has behind it, it sort of has like a post-correction to it. It doesn't feel like it's following the path of your pen, but actually following the tip. It feels a lot like when you're piping buttercream onto the top of a cake. That is the best comparison that I can give. This is why it's not great. Like, compared to this 100, okay, it's just very slow. That's it. Compared to this at 100 at max, what is that? That's so weird. Oh, ew. Ew. Anyway. You know what else is just as important to artists as having a good app to draw on? A good website to promote your work. Thanks to the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. Squarespace has made it so easy to create one. They have a new guided design system called Squarespace Blueprint. Pick the pages you need from these professionally curated layouts and super cool styling options with just a few clicks, and you've got your very own, completely unique site, tailored specifically to your brand. It's also optimized for every device. This includes optimized SEO tools, which increases your discoverability on search engines, putting more eyes on your website. Once that's set up, edit your website with the help of Fluid Engine, the next generation website editor from Squarespace. Without the complications of any coding, simply drag and drop and customize every design detail to your specific needs. Also, customize the many visual design effects. It's built in and ready to go on any Squarespace website. Curate your online aesthetic with dozens of modern and intuitive options, then connect social media accounts, driving more traffic to your social media at the same time. Like on my personal website, the homepage is my Instagram page. I've got a quick showcase of my work without manually adding my art to gallery blocks or gallery pages. So get started. Head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, have fun creating your very own website, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/SammyJen to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Let's start off with Art Studio Pro. A lot of people had mentioned this in the comments. I've never heard of Studio Pro before. Okay, so first up, absolutely love this. The dashboard, the UI is exactly the same as the iPad files. That means when you save, you can actually have the option to choose to save into your iPad, into your cloud drive, or just, any other folder. That's great. Let's create a new one. You are in read-only mode. The progress will be lost when app is closed. Unlock, document, saving, bigger canvas, unlimited layers, and more info version. Alright, so here we got the pricing. It is, I'll put the conversion up on the screen, but for a year, $249, and lifetime is $99. Is it a lot? Not really. Like, I think this is kind of affordable. So there we go. But this is the free version. Let's see all layers. Yep, okay. Maximum of 3 layers. Let's see the UI. I really like this. I'm able to drag everything out. And, ooh, okay, brushes. I don't believe Procreate has this. It's the foreground background color where you can actually, you know, quick swap between two colors. This is very nice. This is good. UI looks nice and clean, but it's not so minimal that it doesn't have what you need. Yeah, you have like adjustment layers. Oh, the big problem people had was like clipping masks with folders. So it's a group. Up. Can this clip? Yep. After Studio Pro, you can clip onto a group. Yeah, some people would really like this. Let's see what's up here. We have brush, secondary brush, smudge, I'm guessing. Yes, it is. Eraser, eyedropper. Can I? I really like this gesture. Three fingers up and down for the brush size. I think every app needs this. This is amazing. Why does the color picker pick up sometimes and then not? Seems like a really hard press. The keyboard shortcuts work. Selection tool. Hello? Man, everything is in here. Wow. Dodge, burn, and sponge are available in Photoshop, and I don't think I've ever seen this in any other app before. So this is nice that I can... What if I just added everything to the top? Can I do that? Yes! Looks like they have a lot of options. Oh my god, you can put everything up there! Okay, the customization option here is awesome. I like this. So the UI feels really nice. I like all the options for the tools you can have up here. I don't think there's a way to disable finger drawing though. Like, people use this app. How do you turn this off? Like, what if I accidentally, you know, touch? How do I turn this off? How do I do this? I took a look around. There doesn't seem to be an option to adjust the keyboard shortcuts. That's disappointing. But the keyboard does work, but it's like you have to look. You have to discover what shortcut is mapped to what tool by just like pressing everything and just like figuring it out yourself, I guess. So first up, the brush engine for this app, I wish you could just tap and then drag to adjust the numbers, but you'd have to click into it first. Oh no, the stabilization. It's just like Procreate. Why does it transform like that? Can you see that? There's right at the start of the stroke. Why does it do that? Oh, it's post-correcting. Okay. So all the brushes seem to be a lot like Procreate, where it's like imitating real life. Like, look at all these textures, but for someone who doesn't use these much textures, it's too much. But thank God they had a basic category, which is just the good old hard round. Very nice options. They're easy to understand, to get into. And also emboss. This is wild. Look at this. It looks like a real tube. This is crazy. I guess this is a setting. It is a setting of all time. Looks like you can import ABR brushes, which is Photoshop brushes. I have one set from this one video that I made, and I'm not sharing it with anyone. It's a huge brush set, thanks to that one class. Ooh, it all imported. Yep, they're all here, all with their settings. Question mark, why is it green? So this doesn't have the snap, just like in Procreate. If you don't know, this is the one thing that I like about Procreate. Double tap and it'll automatically snap to black, gray, white, and then like saturation. Okay, so that means I was selected to a really dark green color. So this is selected to black. Yep, you can import Photoshop brushes into this. Looks really nice. So testing out this app, I did feel like the brush stroke size would be inconsistent. Sometimes it'll just get a little bit larger. And I think this is because of the tilt function. It's not detecting the tilt angle of the pen very properly. I don't think this is an Art Studio Pro specific problem. It could happen with other apps and just be the iPad being janky. And this is why I don't like using tilt functions when I'm drawing. I just prefer to just turn that off. It would just end up feeling unnatural rather than natural, where it's trying to imitate a real pencil. Their liquify function is pretty smooth. And they also came with pretty nice textured pens to use for lining. I was using the free trial of this, so it's limited to only 3 layers. One is the background layer, one was the line, so if I wanted a color, I had to delete the sketch layer. Later on, I just found out that the Paint Bucket tool has options to reference all layers or just current and below, other options than that. But there was no function to ignore the gaps. This was pretty frustrating. I had to go back to my line art and make sure all the gaps are closed. It works very similarly to Procreate. If only it had like a gap recognition, this app would be pretty ideal. Art Studio Pro, yearly subscription is $6.99, lifetime license is $29.99. You can save to local files or on the iCloud. Comes with the full UI, panels can be dragged out, brushes have full customization, able to import ABR and TPL files, but the stabilization is wormy. I will try out Adobe Fresco as well, dedicated to this one guy who just commented, Fresco? Let's take a look. When you make a file, save a file, whatever, everything is saved automatically to the Creative Cloud or whatever Adobe calls it. It is their very own cloud service. So it's free, freemium, where you get to use it however you like. Let's see how much for upgrading. Oh my lord. What is this? Fresco and Photoshop? Adobe Design Mobile Bundle? Full version of Fresco, you get all Fresco brushes and shapes, 5 gigs of cloud storage, and then fonts. I have to show you something. This is what pops up when you first open up the app after downloading. So a sneak peek into what you can do in Fresco. And they decided to show 3 points to advertise. Adobe compatible, sync seamlessly with Photoshop. Understandable because people in the Adobe ecosystem would jump between all of their apps. Motion, add movement to your drawings. Oh wow, you can animate, cool. Liquify, push and pull your artwork. And it was just a small animation of like liquefying. Why is that a selling point? So weird, man. Who markets? Who's working in the market department? God damn it. Okay. Ooh, okay. I've used Fresco once because I wanted to see how like realistic it is, because they said like, oh look, it's like real watercolor. I played with it for 5 minutes and then exit because I've said it 200 times. I don't like the realism. If I wanted realism, I'd go with real traditional art. I'd pick up a piece of paper. Why would I want to do it digitally? It is fun to watch though. Basic touch gestures. Keyboard works, thank God. Yo. Wild. Okay. It's a fun app to play with. Would I want to make actual art with this? I would probably pull my hair out. There's no layer panel, but there is a panel for the properties. This doesn't... Who designed this? I'm gonna hand in my resume to be a UX UI designer at Adobe. And I'm gonna fix all of this, watch me. That's all the brushes. Can I import though? These are live brushes, I see. Live brushes give you the... Oh my god. Oh my god! I'm tripping out. This is psychedelic as hell somehow. You can't even change the size, and it would be cool if you could change the brush size in this little panel right here, or even in here. What's the point of the click and then drag? Can you? Okay, thank God, you can drag this out. Wow. Alright, I'm gonna go try to draw something with this, let's go. Why am I reviewing Fresco? I don't think I should be reviewing Fresco. My work is very far from traditional art, and this whole app and all the brushes are very traditional. Like, this is just not for me. I felt like I was fighting with the app the entire time drawing. Here's my very, very sad attempt to use like watercolor, and then I gave up. Fresco's not for me, but it's fun to play around with. Fresco, $9.99 a year. Files are saved to Adobe Cloud. UI is hyper minimal. Brushes are fun to play with. Next up is IBIS Paint. I hear about it a lot. Everyone uses it on their phone, Android, tablet, PC, everything. So many people use it. It seems to be very community-based. Let's try this out. Okay, it's free, but there are ads, and let's check out the pricings. There's a free version, a paid version removes ads and add-ons, and Prime membership. The paid version is $9.99. I think that's a one-time purchase. And then there's Prime membership, which is $2.99 per month and $30 per year. The Prime membership just has like vector tools, Prime filters, adjustments, and fonts. It's all called Prime. Prime materials, Prime fonts, Prime canvas papers. I guess I would pay. I would pay just to remove the ads. Oh, they got comics and comic divider options. Here's the layers. Why are the buttons here? So canvas preview, but why are the new buttons right here? Shouldn't it be like right here? Yes, keyboard works perfectly fine. Can I change brushes? Nope. Oh yeah, IBIS uses like QR codes for brushes. I think it's really weird, but also really cool. Spacing, gap, pattern. Got the nice basics here. Aspect, which is the thickness, am I right? Why not just call it thickness? Okay, so it's got all the basic settings that you need. Where's the stabilization? Where is that? Why is stabilizer up here? It feels very nice. It feels like Clip Studio Paint. That's really good. That's really nice. I like that. I find it a little bit odd. The stabilizer is right here instead of the brush settings, but I guess it's nice. Where you don't have to set the setting for each brush, and you can just come over here instead. It also has the function to quick swap between brush and eraser, but I would have to press like this, right? I don't like using my hand at all, because it's not a physical button. How do you do adjustments then? Okay, it's called filters. Okay, in order for me to get a better understanding, I would have to draw something in this app. Oh my god. The way that I would fish out money so quick to skip ads. So Ibis Paint is fairly easy to use. All the free brushes that you're allowed to use is quite nice. I'm just a little thrown off by the UI. It's not clunky, it works the way it's supposed to. It's just the way it looks, I guess. It's giving the feeling like they export a mobile version and slap it onto a tablet version. That's what the feeling is. Paint Bucket tool does have a gap recognition. It works a little weird, but it works. The Paint Bucket did have an expand function. I forgot to adjust that before putting my colors down, so if you hit the lines layer, you would see the gaps between all the colors. The app is fine, it works pretty well. I'm able to just, whip out a drawing. The cost to remove ads is quite reasonable. It's not difficult to use, it's just a little less convenient than what I'm used to. So Ibis. Prime membership is $27.99 per year, or a one-off payment to remove ads is $9.99. The files are saved to Ibis Cloud. UI is minimal but functional. Brushes have full customization and smooth stabilization. Next up is Metabang Paint. There's a regular one, I've seen this before, and then there's Metabang Pro, which I'm pretty sure is new, but we'll try out the regular Metabang first. It feels a lot like Ibis. When first opening the app, you will need an account. So this is how they set up their app layout, the dashboard. Recommended works. So community posts and then all the options right here. Is this saved locally to the iPad though? That is the important question. Oh, there's a folder right here. Local saves, and wow, okay. Yeah, everything is saved right onto the folder, which is good. You don't have to move it out of the app and stuff, but still it's on the iPad. Hopefully there's an option that saves straight into iCloud instead. Okay, keyboard. Undo redo does work. Thankfully, can you swap? Yes, you can use X to swap two colors. There seems to be a lot of keyboard shortcuts. That's very nice. I don't like that there's no preview for each brush. You would just have to remember the name, which one has which effect. Oh, I forgot to talk about the price. The price for this thing. There is a Metabang Premium. Join Metabang Premium to get your special features. So you go by choosing the amount of cloud storage you want. There's also fees, write the fine print, but here's the conversions or what I found on the original site. Despite how clunky the UI looks, I think it's a bit more cleaner than Ibis. I think I would prefer this more. Swinging a hard guess at correction for being stabilization, but shouldn't it be a slider instead of having to tap up? Can I even type? Nope. Alright, the max is 20. Ooh. Okay, it's not like Procreate, that's great. But why... Yeah, it should be a slider like this. And this preview should be here. Let's also take a look at Metabang Pro. What is the difference between Metabang Pro and Metabang Paint for iPad? So Pro is a professional app with the UI dedicated to iPad workspace. Does Metabang Pro require a monthly subscription? No, Metabang Pro is a one-time purchase of $10.99 and does not operate on a monthly subscription model. So very, very similarly to Procreate, pay once, use it for the rest of your life. So the UI layout, everything is very similar to Procreate. Undo redo buttons work. This app does have a foreground and background color. So I very much prefer being able to swap between two colors, but I also very much prefer this, which is swap to transparency to use the brush that you're using as an eraser, so I wouldn't have to go select the eraser. But all the other apps don't have this. 4-finger tap does nothing. 3-finger does nothing. And you can't pick up the colors? Nothing? Nothing. No. I would have to come over here to pick up the color. Is that right? I would have to press this first and then come select. That's quite an inconvenient. It's weird that they would put this panel right here up on the left. Because if I'm adjusting, how am I going to see it if my hand's in the way? I would have to swap, use my left hand. Or do I do this? And then they expect me to just use my left hand. Just let us move this. Let's put it at the bottom. Oh, this is the most simple pen setting. Wow. Size, opacity, and maximum width. That's it. That's all the settings. This is so simple. I guess if anyone's like a beginner who doesn't like the brush engines of any other app where it feels a bit too complicated, I guess this would be better for you. Stabilization is right here separately instead of in the brush options. Oh, it's very slow. Can you see this? There's a lag to it. Like it went like that. Oh, okay, it works perfectly fine like this though. Wow. So it does not have the worm effect of Procreate. I didn't test out drawing on Metabang Paint because I thought drawing on Pro would be better, but I went back to the Paint version and I want to say that the app is fine, it's good. The UI has all that you need. Paint Bucket has gap recognition, expand, The UI is a little bit finicky. I only wish that you were able to move it around. Just like Ibis Paint, it feels like an app that's exported from mobile and then slapped onto a tablet. I'm also just really put off by the fact that you don't see previews for the brush that you want to use. So here I'm drawing in Metabank Pro, and I lost my footage halfway through. I think my phone overheated from recording too much and then just cut the recording. Metabank doesn't have a Liquify tool, so I just had to make do by moving things around manually or using the mesh transformation to make small edits. You can't use your finger to use the eyedropper, but I found out there's a shortcut map to it, which is the I key. Thank God for that. The app is decent. The UI, I think I would prefer the Paint version over this. Yeah. Metabank Paint and Metabank Pro. Metabank Paint prices slapped on the screen. For Metabank Pro, lifetime license is $10.99. For both apps, files are saved onto the iPad. Metabank Paint has a UI of full panels, brushes have full customization, and smooth stabilization. For Metabank Pro, the UI is super minimal, with very minimal customizations to the brushes, and stabilization has a slight lag to it. Next up is Infinite Painter. I am gonna check this one out because like 2 people mentioned it, I think. Oh wait, hold on. It says it's free, but none of these apps are truly free, so 7-day free trial to trial everything the app has to offer. After the 7 days end, you will still be able to use the app, but certain features will be locked behind a one-time purchase. Alright, so how much is the one-time purchase? It doesn't say anything here. So according to this website, the starting price is $9.99 of a one-time payment, and there is a free trial available, so I'm guessing this is true? It's weird that they won't state it anywhere. Can I just mention that from the looks of it, they advertise themselves as an app that has all the tools for professional artists, but why does their logo look like this? I mean, the name is Infinite. You could have like incorporated like maybe an infinity symbol or something else. Why is it just a paintbrush? Why this color? I'm gonna psychoanalyze this whole company. Anyway, start fresh. You can start from a pattern? What is that? Oh Lord. Oh my God. You can make a pattern. That's pretty cool and pretty fun. But where are the files saved at? Hello? So it's okay. Nope. So everything is on the app. You delete the app, everything's gone. Much wow to the UI. It's hyper minimal UI. I could barely see the icons in the top right corner there. Pens, pencil, markers. So many options, fills, and glowy glow stuff. Can I drag it out? Can I drag this? Can I drag this out, please? Hello? Please? 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 Nope. I see. Pressing P is not for pen, but it enables like the pen mode. Not only for this, but for every other tool. Like, look at the eraser. Okay, I guess this is pretty cool if you want it to be like super precise. Is this the biggest it can be? I can't go any bigger? What if I want really big brush? Okay, do they have like a hard round? Do you have like the basic bitch hard round? Our favorite, greatest of all time, hard round. Okay, so depending on some brushes can be big, some brushes can't be. But let's see here. So many tools. Gradients, patterns, clones, line, liquify. Okay, there's a low FPS to it, but that's fine, I guess. Oh, you can lock the rotation. So you don't accidentally rotate and make it flip around. This is good. Yeah, it has like a lot of options for you to customize. What about the stabilization? So it's called smooth. Okay, and if God, I have so many taps to get to the settings. Hyper smooth. It's just like Procreate, but why is it low FPS? I really like that they have a lot of tools, but I don't like, I really can't with this type of UI. Also layers, sure, they let you swap between it, but wouldn't it just be easier to show all of these options just right as you open it up? This is having to do more than one tab is such a waste of time. I'm so glad that there's an option to lock the rotation, because rotating the canvas in this app it's not snappy. I still find it quite jarring that the setting for the brush is separated with another button and instead of the brush panel, and the brush panel is separated from all the other tools. I think it would be better if they were all just in the same place. I had a bit of a struggle to fill the colors in with the paint bucket. There's no gap recognition. There's tolerance, but it's not good enough. And there's not a lot of options. So I did the old technique of coloring and then selecting the outside of the line and then like, delete that. Also, I find it kind of weird that the adjustments aren't like, tone curve levels, hue brightness and stuff like that, but it's separated much like a photo editing app. For a lifetime license of $9.99, I think this is okay, but not for me. Infinite Painter, lifetime license of $9.99, files are saved onto the app, and UI is hyper minimal. Full brush customization, but stabilization is wormy and laggy. Man, if I had to go with one of these, to be honest, I think I'm gonna go with either IBIS or Art Studio Pro. I really like Art Studio Pro's UI. It's closest to Clip Studio Paint, that's why I like it, but I feel like IBIS has all the functions that I need for my type of digital art. Please don't be mad if you don't like my opinions on your favorite app. I want to give a shout out to Krita. A lot of people suggested that, but there's no iPad app. Anyway, I hope you like my skill issue. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'm tired. I'm gonna go. Bye.